Good morning, great dear friends and lovers of freedom all over the world. My name is Kumawe Taranemi, and I want to welcome you to today's broadcast. And I advise that you welcome somebody by your side If you can hear us from the social media, just hold on. Just hold on. There are some technical issues they were trying to fix. It's a technical issue. Okay, so we proceed. We were praying before we had those technical issues. Thank God for everything. We must proceed. Today we're going to be talking about a topic which I titled Gatherers or Scatterers. Gatherers or Scatterers. This is very simple. It's a lecture, and I will advise that if you were not with your pen and paper, you should try and get one, because today's lecture is very important. It's not going to be your usual lecture. Okay, and you have to be very sensitive to every detail and to every point. So we must proceed. Gatherers and scatterers. First of all, of course, you know that when we talk about gatherers and scatterers, I'm not talking about animals that scatters or animals that gathers, but of course, animals gathers and animals scatters. But in this case, gatherers and scatterers, we're talking about people. We're talking about individuals. We're talking about human beings. So the question is, who is a gatherer and who is a scatterer? Who is a gatherer? A gatherer is one that builds. He goes about bringing people together from one end to another. Like, for instance, in the Holy Scriptures called the Bible, there is a record of somebody that gathers. And that's talking about financially. There's a record of somebody that gathers. And on that gathering, it talks about how to gather financially. He said that somebody that gathers little by little, at the end of the day, he makes progress. Okay. So, but somebody that scatters, that spends anyhow, that's scattering, spends anyhow. But on this case, we're not talking about financial gathering or gathering of finances. Now we're talking about people, individuals, gathering of people. In every organization, there's a gathering. When people come together, it's a gathering. Okay. Now, the leader of that organization is the gatherer. That leader is the gatherer. That leader is the one that probably, due to one reason or the other, people came because of him. So he is the gatherer. And every other person that works with him, that gives him support, one way or the other, they all are gatherers. But a scatterer, the mission of a scatterer, when a scatterer comes when a scatterer gets into a gathering, what a scatterer does is to foment troubles and foment different sort of ideologies that pulls apart, that divides. And at the end of the day, people begin to go their separate ways. So anybody with such attitude, anybody that comes up with such attitude to pull apart to different ends and all of that, or comes up with certain strategies that enables one to pull apart, such a person can be referred to as a scatterer. So a gatherer is one that builds with a leader. A gatherer builds with a leader. A gatherer picks from the leader, because the leader is the one that has gathered these people together. So the gatherer picks the same thoughts and the same ideology. How did this leader gather? How did this leader bring all of us together? For us to make progress, for us to improve, for us to grow, the same way the leader have gathered us is the same way that we must continue. And if we continue in that ideology, if we continue in that system that the leader has put in place, then we are a gatherer, just like the leader. In the case of our movement, the enemies, Britain, Nigeria, all they've been trying to do is to scatter. All they've been trying to do is to scatter from the very, very beginning. During the time of our eternal leader, Ojukwu, when he came up in order to defend our people, in order to protect our land, there were other people that were raised that they thought they had better ideology. And in the midst of that, he gave them different opinions and different reasons why they must not gather and why they must scatter. Even some that pretended to be working with him were scattering while he's gathering. And at the end of the day, we all, like some of us that weren't born then, I wasn't born. Today, we're all facing the same problem that the man Ojukwu couldn't solve. And today, the onus is on us for us to solve that problem. It is on our shoulders today. It is on the shoulders of all of us in this generation to solve that problem, so that those that are not born today will not have to come and join us to fight the same fight. By now, if the man Ojukwu had succeeded, we're not supposed to be talking about having freedom and all, because we'll be free. What we would have been discussing about is about going to space and competing with higher technologies in the world. That is what we would have been talking about by now. That is exactly what we would have been talking about. But because some people did not gather, it became a problem. It became a problem that our generation must have to solve. Because some people did not gather in the 60s, it became a problem that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have to solve. It became a problem that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have to be in DSS dungeon for the rest of us today. And it is a problem that we all must face and we all must solve. And this issue of gathering and scattering is a very delicate thing, in the sense that sometimes you might be thinking that you are gathering, meanwhile you are scattering. Very, very important to gather in an organization such as this. First of all, I must say that the birth of Biafra Radio is to gather every one of our people, is to bring everyone back to the same mindsets, to having a clear understanding, and to follow with the same passion as our leader have always followed. It's not about people, it's not about individuals. It's not about people, neither is it about individuals. Neither is it about what one person is doing, one place, or what one person is not doing. It's about you as an individual. The question is, what do you want? What do you want? Do you want freedom? Or do you want the downfall of others? If freedom is what is most important to you, then stay true, check your own heart, and follow your pace. Now, everybody must not agree with you. Everybody must not agree with you for you to win. Anybody that is not against you is not your enemy. Our primary enemy is the zoo that is keeping each and every one of us down. We must be able to shun distractions at this time, because this is a delicate time. On my platform on Facebook, I wrote something which I titled that we are in the time of tests. Every man's work will be tested. Every man's work is being tested. It's not will be tested. Every man's work is being tested at the moment. How strong is your feet for this movement is being tested. The challenges you face are all part of the test. The challenges you face are all part of the test. And how you react to the challenges are all part of the tests that you are going through. You must understand that we are in a period of tests. And how we manage this period of tests determines how fast we are likely to get our freedom. How we manage this period of tests determines how fast our enemies will release our leader. How we manage this period of tests determines how far we are going to go, determines the friends that we are going to make. How we manage this period of tests. That is why I say, you might be thinking that you are gathering, meanwhile you are scattering. Because if you do not gather according to the design of the one that gathered you, that brought you together, because so many of us, it is our leader's voice that we heard. I personally, I heard our leader's voice. It was our leader's voice that I heard. After I heard our leader's voice, I started hearing my own voice, the voice of my spirit, telling me that this is the right way to go and this is the only way to go. This is the only option. This is the only option. We don't have many options. We don't have another option. Say, okay, if Biafra is not free, maybe we can manage one Nigeria somehow. We can manage restructuring. We have no other option. If we must survive as a people, if we must have our integrity, if we must have our destiny function the way we should function in this world, then we must have our freedom. There are no two ways about it. And the way to have our freedom is very simple. For me, the way to have my freedom is to follow Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The way for us to have our freedom is to follow Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I have learned not to follow any other. The only person I follow is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Doesn't matter how somebody feels or how one person somewhere, what one person thinks, or the emotion that one person somewhere exhibits. It's very simple. Follow Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Follow his orders. Because you must understand that Biafra is a spiritual nation. And people are called. On our land, people are called to do the things that they do. Even as complex as a thing as science, that in other places, people just go, people study. In Biafra land, yeah, you can study it, but there are some people that are given it as a gift. Technology is a gift given to people. Then they add it to one other studies. They add it to some other studies that they can grab and they move forward. If you don't have that gift, you can study, but definitely you serve those that have the gift. Even technology is a calling. That is why you will see people in Biafra land that have no training whatsoever. Maybe their highest training is primary school, or maybe secondary school, as the case may be. Probably that's their highest training. But at the end of the day, you see these people producing things. Why? The advancement of the land, the development of the land is not managed by human knowledge. It's not managed by human knowledge. The advancement of the land is managed by the spirits. It doesn't mean that human knowledge or human wisdom is not important. Human knowledge, human wisdom is important, of course, but it doesn't supersede. It does not supersede. Human knowledge is important. Human wisdom is important, but it doesn't supersede. But following the Spirit according to how you are led, that is the solution. In order to gather, we must learn to avoid distractions, because distractions are setbacks. When you begin to chase after individuals, when you begin to chase after people, you're getting distracted. The focus is to chase after the true enemy. And in the midst of all this, when many people have gotten distracted, the enemy have taken it as an opportunity after creating unnecessary heat amongst the people. The enemy have taken it as an opportunity to cause lots of mayhem and get free and get away with it. We are the ones at the media. Why? Because this is the era of social media. We are the ones on social media. This is the era of social media. The mainstream media is there, is good. Yes. But social media right now is taking the lead in the media, or has already taken the lead. And on social media, we are everywhere on social media. That is why the world knows everything that we do, even though the world keeps quiet, even though the world pretends not to know. The world knows what our leader is facing, even though some pretend not to know. The world is very much aware. Why? Because social media is actually the media, the most powerful media right now. And when you have the power of social media like we do in our movement right now, then it is practically impossible for your message not to be heard. And that is why when you ferment unnecessary bad blood on social media, then you make it very easy for the enemies to get away with their crimes. For example, we have seen evidences of how the zoo have come into our land with the disguise of unknown gunmen, killing scores of people, claiming to be IPOB here or one Biafra activist here. And what you see on social media, this one blames this one, and this one blames this one. And at the end of the day, no one blames the culprit. And who is the culprit? Nigeria. Nigeria is the culprit. If peradventure they succeed in buying anybody over and using anybody that used to be one of us to cause any mayhem, or anybody that claims to be one of us to cause any mayhem, that person is not the real enemy. The real enemy is the one that paid him. Because if the one that paid him was not there, that person would not be able to do what he did. the crime will not be committed. If the one that paid him is dealt with, then he has no more paymaster. Then there's nobody to pay him anymore. And if there's nobody to pay him anymore, he will go into hiding. He will no longer be found there. He will no longer be there. So why chase shadow instead of to chase the real person? When you chase shadow, no matter the number of bullets that you shoot at the shadow will keep moving. But just one bullet on the head of the real person, the shadow will stop moving. And in fact, the shadow will disappear. For a long time now, politicians have caused mayhem, most especially in the Southeast. They have destroyed a lot and destroyed a lot of people, all for the fact that they want to blackmail the IPOB movement, the Biafran movement. All for the fact that they want to blackmail. They have paid different kind of people to cause mayhem and kill scores of innocent people. Some, they have done it directly with the Ebibagu, and they are paid Asare Dokubo boys. We can see them. But at the end of the day, we see people accusing people that claim, even if you think, or even if you're so sure that the people that claim to be Biafran activists hold on. So if you see such people, a minute. Give me a minute. I'll be back. Sorry for that break in transmission. We must continue. So, as I was saying, it's important that you understand the difference and know how to shoot your shots, because we can continue to complain from now till tomorrow, from now till next year. These guys will continue to cause mayhem, and they will continue to blackmail until we redirect our focus and we redirect our force. I remember last year, or is it? Yeah, that should be last year, when Soludo started attacking our people. attacking the Eastern Security Network and claiming that these are the people committing crimes, claiming that they are unknown gunmen. I know how much I was shouting on radio. I know how much I complained. Okay? But it seems like for a little while, the man has been getting away with it. Today, the man has been going from house to house, picking people and doing all sorts of things. All sorts of things. And each and every one of us, we must be vocal on this. We must call every politician out. If you leave the politicians and you begin to chase what you do not understand, you are missing the point and you're shooting yourself in the foot. Most especially if you are in Biafra land. If you're in Biafra land, you're foolish. If you leave the politicians that are foiling all this insecurity just for the sake that they want to blackmail this movement and they want to blackmail our leader. Of course, no one can blackmail our leader. All those talks of blackmailing our leader, you cannot blackmail our leader because you cannot judge him. You cannot judge our leader with what is done in talking about these things. Funny enough, most of us are no longer interested in talking about these things. We must never get tired of exposing the zoo, because that is where the key is. We must never get tired of exposing their terrorism on our land, whether the terrorists in uniform or the terrorists out of uniform. We must never get tired in doing that. We must never get tired. It doesn't matter the number of people that get tired. You as an individual, you must discipline yourself never to get tired. Because what you must know is that our strength is our collective strength. Our strength is not one person's strength. It's a collective strength. Our strength is an everybody's strength. It's a strength from everybody. That is why you must be a gatherer. It's an everybody's strength. Everybody's strength is our strength. Our strength is everybody's strength. So, most especially our people in Biafra land. Some of you are faced with certain things, and you maybe not want to talk about it, or one thing or the other. And some people, I have noticed that some people will see certain things that are bordering on the zoo, hit hard on the zoo. No, they will not want to share it. They will think it's irrelevant. They have talked about it too much. But once it is somebody that they hate, or somebody that they feel that they should hate, then they rise up with every force and begin to fight. No, it's wrong. I'm not telling you that you must not fight people that you want to fight on social media. You know, we are tempted to do that. It's okay. It's fine. Okay, we're all adults, and if you think somebody is provoking, it's fine. You can do that. But you must never forget the goal. In as much as you are tempted to want to fight one person or the other, you must never forget the goal. The goal is to expose the atrocities of the zoo on our land. The atrocities of the zoo. The politicians want to be hidden. They want to hide. They want to stay behind. They don't want you to mention them. They prefer it when you look for somebody else to blame and not them. They enjoy it. They don't want you to mention them. We must take advantage of our strength. Social media is our strength. We must take advantage of everything that we have, because you may not be living in Biafra land, but you are from there. And because you are from there, if that place is not in peace, wherever you are, you can never be in peace. If your land is not free, wherever you are, you can never be free. Because everything about you is connected to your land. Everything about you connects you to home, connects you to your community, connects you to your family. So when that place is affected, you are also affected. So do not think, oh, it doesn't concern me. I don't think I'll ever go there. But one day you will have need. You have need to go home. and then you'll be faced with the harsh reality. You want to solve criminality on our land? Call the politicians out. It's our duty. We must call them out. Many of us have the facts. We must call them out. A few days ago, I made a post about what Governor Soludo is doing and how he's going about hijacking IPOB members. Going about hijacking our people. And right now, the current trend is that what they do is they accuse every IPOB member to be unknown gunman. Any IPOB member they get hold of, they call them unknown gunmen. It makes it very, very easy to explain in the media why they are harassing these people. Because if you say that they are IPOB, everybody knows the mission statement of IPOB. Everybody knows what we are out for. Everybody knows our agitation. Everybody knows that what we are out for is our right. We are not saying that you should give us anybody's land. We are saying that we want to be free on our own land. So when they are able to change the game and say that and pick an IPOB member and say that this man is an unknown gunman, it makes it very easy. It makes it very, very easy for them to do their work. So they will no longer be looking at that person as an IPOB member. They will now be looking at the person as a unknown gunman. And even IPOB members that probably do not know. You know, we are not everywhere. We are not God. So if the security picks up somebody and arraign that person and say that this person is an unknown gunman, or this person is this, or this person is that, you don't know the person primarily, except those that knows. And it's not everybody that is popular. It's not everybody that is popular. And many of these people are not popular. There are many of our people that have been picked. They're not popular, so nobody knows. Nobody knows what is happening to them. Many of them have been picked that way, and they have killed them and destroyed them. Nobody knows. Nobody knew what happened. And they just disappeared into thin air. Nobody knows. When you encourage them to say this is unknown gunmen, this is unknown gunmen, that is how they will keep picking innocent people in their homes and tag them unknown gunmen, and it becomes very sweet in the media. Because now even people that are not even Biafrans, you cannot just go and pick an IPOB member and say that you kidnapped him, you arrested him because he's an IPOB member. It does not make any sense anymore in the media. We have squashed that. We have defeated that. They can't do it. Nobody will agree with them. So what is their new excuse? The new excuse is to pick IPOB members and tag them unknown gunmen. You're an IPOB member, you're in the zoo or you're in Biafra land, you must know that if today you have not been picked, today you're not a target, it doesn't mean that tomorrow you will not be one. Just imagine as popular as our sister from Akwa Ibom, was picked. As popular as she was, and as we agitated for long, you can imagine how long they still kept her. A lady, a female, even though many people have been agitating and saying that you must free Dara. You can imagine how long they kept her. Now, what about people that nobody knew about? What about people that people didn't even hear about? Do you think if Idara wasn't popular and people didn't call for her release, the manner that we called for her release, do you think she would have been released today? That is to imagine the number of people that have been picked in same way and nobody knows their whereabouts today. Many of them are no longer alive, but nobody even knows. They just disappeared. Why? There used to be a time when, irrespective of whether the person is popular or the person is not popular, immediately the evil terrorist securities of the zoo pick anybody, immediately they kidnap any single person, that person becomes popular automatically. Because immediately the person is picked, information will reach. Information will get to social media and everybody will begin to tweet that the person should be released. But now people are more interested in tweeting other things. People are more interested in having their fans, in growing their fans. People are more interested in hating on others and loving others. You see, we are not in this movement to hate people or love people. It is enough to love Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It is enough to hate the zoo. Any other love or any other hate is unnecessary. It can be your source of distraction. Because sometimes hate and love blinds the soul. It makes you not to be able to see truth. It makes you not to be able to see reality. And most times it gets you distracted. So because I love you or because I hate you, my judgments of you can be affected. And that's a fact. Or my judgments of events can be affected, whether by love or by hate. You know, this message today, this lecture today, is for the healing of our souls. This message today is for the healing of our souls. I have come here to tell you to heal your own soul and direct your energy where your energy is needed. Your energy is not needed to destroy anybody that is a Biafran, whether you like it or not. Dissipating such an energy is useless. You may not agree with me, but that is a fact. It makes you to turn round and round and round in a circle. But when you put your gaze at the enemy, when you put your gaze at the enemy becomes weak. When you put your gaze at the enemy, that person that you think the enemy is using will be powerless because they will no longer be able to use him. They will no longer be able to use him. And at the end of the day, he will look for something better to do. Because he has gone out of business. But when you pick on him, even if you destroy him, even if you kill him, the politicians still have his money. Oil is still running in Biafra land. The politician is still serving the zoo, whether the politician is a Biafran or the politician is from wherever side in the zoo, but he still have access to government, and the government that controls the wealth of our land, they still have access to your wealth. Because you must understand that our enemies are using our wealth to fight us. The power of the enemy, the power of the zoo is money. Nothing else. And where is that money coming from? From Biafra land. Maybe from other places, few little from other places, but primarily, the controllers of the zoo have no brain. If they had brain, the zoo wouldn't have been as it is. They have no brain. Even the oil in Biafra land, in which they are using to flex their muscles, they are not getting it with their brain. The white man is the one getting the oil out of the ground. What are they doing? Sit in Abuja, collect this money, and look for who to kill. You question them, it's a problem. Look at the case that is happening with Emefiele. Emefiele right now is an enemy of the state. You know one thing with the zoo, our leader said, serve the zoo and you shall come back in shame. Look at Emefiele. Emefiele was there, he was serving the zoo, senior officer under Buhari, serving very, very well. His brother Nnamdi Kanu has been arraigned, said nothing, he did nothing, stayed cool in his office, enjoyed himself. Today, his case is even getting worse than that of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. A repetition of what they did to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is what they are doing to him. What does this tell you? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you say it. It doesn't matter what you feel. It doesn't matter your emotions. The truth is the truth. The truth is the truth. Court ordered that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be released. And nothing was done under the Buhari administration or the late Buhari administration. Nothing was done. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is still there. Same thing. Court ordered that Emefiele should be released. Repetition. The DSS went back to pick the man and returned him back to base. That is the zoo. That is the condition of the zoo. That is the condition of the zoo. So, irrespective of how this thing is, the truth doesn't change. Your emotion doesn't matter. The truth is the truth. If you choose not to follow the truth or not to say the truth, it will come back to you. It doesn't matter your position or your status. Whether you're the richest person in the society or you are the poorest person in the society, it's just a matter of time. The fact is that Biafrans are the endangered species. As long as the zoo exists, Biafrans are the endangered species. And when you are a Biafran and you begin to think that, oh, today I'm getting this money, tomorrow will be good, you cannot be so sure. Tomorrow you might become a victim of what you are avoiding to talk about today. Emefiele is an example. Emefiele is an example. When people were complaining that Buhari did not put an able man in position while he was president, what did he say? He said, "Is Emefiele not an able man?" Wait, was it Emefiele or? Okay, I think no. Then he was talking about the then petroleum minister, or so junior minister of petroleum, because Buhari was petroleum minister. So this is the condition. This is the condition of things. That is why, irrespective of who you are or whatever status that you claim to be, you must be able to discipline yourself and point your energies where it is needed. You must be able to discipline yourself and point your energies where it is needed. You must point your energies at that point, at that particular focal point where it is needed. And where is your energy needed? Your energy is needed to expose the zoo. Your energy is needed to expose the atrocities of the zoo securities on our land. That is where your energy is needed. That is where your energy is needed. Stop dissipating your energies at places where you're not needed. It's a waste of energy. You must understand the simple fact is that the unknown gunmen are practically right now as we speak, most of the unknown gunmen or the activities of the unknown gunmen or whatever are practically the activities of the zoo police with facts. With facts. These are not the guesses that some people do on social media. Facts. The zoo police and the thugs, those ones that are not on uniform, are the thugs sponsored by politicians. The zoo police, Ebube Agu, or other thugs. Ebube Agu is still there. They are the ones doing all these things. You know, the people in the coast during the 60s, in the 60s, when our people were fighting for survival in the genocidal war, the people in the coast concluded that the people in the hinterland want to exterminate them forever. How did they get to that conclusion? How did the people in the coast get to that conclusion? The game was very simple. It was a very simple game that was done to divide the people in the coast and the people in the hinterland. Because if that division was not done, if that scattering was not done, they wouldn't have been able to defeat the will of the people. Because what is important is the will of the people. Once the will of the people is defeated, the battle is over. Once the will of the people is defeated, once the people begin to look for themselves to kill themselves, the battle is over. So what did they do? These are not guesses. These are not hearsays. There are certain people that have confessed. They have confessed to this. These are the actions that people did in order to blackmail the Biafran army and to blackmail the Igbo people. Most especially, not just the Igbo people, but the Igbo people of the hinterland. Some people of the Zoo soldiers. And most of these people are not strangers. You must recognize they're not strangers on our land. They are people that have been bribed or captured. One way or the other, they find themselves in the hands of the enemy. They find themselves within the ranks of the enemy. And what did the enemy do with them? Gather them together, plunge them to the coast to begin to kill innocent people in the coast. Then the coastal people started saying that the enemy, their major enemy, are the people in the hinterland. That no, they must stop these people in the hinterland. That if now that we are still fighting for freedom, while we are fighting for our freedom, these people are coming to kill us. We came out to them and told them, oh, we are one. We are the same people. We are our people. We are the same people. You should protect us. And they opened fire on us. They killed my brother. They killed my father. They raped my sister. No, they cannot be the ones. And that was how the hatred spread. You know, when somebody sees things with his very own eyes, it is difficult for you to convince him otherwise. And that was how the hatred spread. Until today, that hatred is being fanned. They keep fanning it from generation to generation. They keep fanning it. But today we are wiser because we have gotten to understand all the tricks. And we are exposing them. And on this radio, we shall continue to expose the tricks of the zoo. We shall continue to expose the tricks by the politicians and how they try to hide their own activities and their own evil. That is what they have always done. The securities in the zoo do not consider Biafra land as part of the zoo. They do not consider Biafra land as part of the zoo. Or should I say part of their country? Biafra land is considered a conquered territory, the marketplace where they must make their money. And that is why we must use our strength to protect ourselves. Like I told you earlier, your strength primarily, your primary strength, the primary strength that we have is our use of social media. And we must never use social media to destroy ourselves. We must use social media to protect ourselves. How do you protect yourself with social media? When you come on social media and begin to call certain people, whether you agree with them, you do not agree with them, whether I agree with them or I do not agree with them, whether you agree with me or you do not agree with me, all these things are immaterial. But when somebody, even though you have so much evidence that this person is actually working for a social politician and all that, when you come out to social media, to the public, and you begin to point this one out and say that this one is a criminal, this one is a terrorist, this one is this, these are the people doing this, these are the people doing that. All you are helping the zoo. You are making the work easy for the zoo to say that the IPOB members, the innocent IPOB members that they picked, are actually unknown gunmen. That's exactly what you're doing. You're making the work easy. Meanwhile, most of what you're saying may not be true because these are guesses. And even if it is true, when you do that, you also, because when you do that, when you say some of these things, which you do not have evidence to, because most of these things, when we come out to talk, some of these things, you don't have evidence. When they will pick you, they will not need evidence. They will not need evidence. So, as somebody that wants the restoration of Biafra, that is propagating the restoration of Biafra, to protect yourself is to protect others. It's not about how you feel about them. When you protect them, you are protecting yourself. When you protect them, you may not agree with what they are doing, but it is better you keep short than to come out and accuse them for something that you are not sure whether they are right or whether they are the ones that did it or they are not the ones that did it. We must use the media space to protect ourselves. And another way for you to protect yourself, when you see somebody, when you see that the zoo have captured one person somewhere or the other, you must never keep quiet. Never. You must expose it. You must never keep quiet. Never. And if you see somebody exposing something, you must share it. You must share it. It doesn't matter who that person is or what that person have done. You must share it. You must share it. Why? It is your duty to do it. I'm aware that there are some people that are actually paid agents. They are fanning all these, they are propagating these ideologies so that they can save their masters. Many of them are not IPOB members. Many of them are not on oath, or maybe they were. But even if they are picked today, these people, they already know one or two politicians. If they are picked today, they will just pick a call, say, oh, free him, leave him. He's not one of them. He's working for us. And you will not know. I say if mistakenly they are picked. But for you, you that your hands are clean, you are not out there to follow any politician or to romance with any politician or to make any politician happy. You're endangered. So some of them, what they are doing is their duty. They are doing their jobs. When you see them trying to blackmail one another, they are doing their jobs. You must not join them. Because everything do not appear the way it seems. One thing you must note is that Nigerian politicians that are eating fat from the zoo can never love the Biafra movement. They may like it, like they may wish, but they can never love it. The reasons are very obvious. Nigeria is their company. For instance, it's just like you're working in you're working in a particular company, would you like that company to crumble? How are you sure of getting another job? Or when next do you think you will get another job? Or how are you sure you will get a job as lucrative as the one that you're doing? Nobody will want to liquidate the company that he's working for, that is paying his or her salaries. To every politician, Nigeria is their company. Nigeria is their business place. So why should they love you? They want to bring Nigeria down, change the system whereby they can no longer steal the way they were stealing, even if they want to still work as a politician in Biafra. It cannot be the way Nigeria is. So why do you think a politician in the zoo called Nigeria, as it is designed right now, why do you think they would like Biafra agitation or like you as a Biafran? Why do you think so? Why do you think so? A politician will never like you. And that is why you should never, ever think of any politician liking you or think that you may have to please some of the politicians so that they will release our leader. The way for them to release our leader is not for us to romance with them. It's not for us to make them feel good. It's not for us to hide their atrocities. When you hide their atrocities, they become stronger. See, I want to tell you a secret. And if you're smart, you already know the secret. The secret is this. The only reason why the zoo kidnapped our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is not to kill him, because definitely they know that it will become worse. If they had done it that time, it would be worse. The reason they kidnapped him is to reduce or kill the tempo and the fire of the movement. That's the reason they kidnapped him. They kidnapped him to kill the tempo and the fire of the movement. They kidnapped him so that you will stop doing what you have been doing for the restoration of Biafra. Now, how do you make them release him? You make them release him by proving to them and proving to the whole world that whether our leader is here, our leader is not here, whether he's held captive or he's not held captive, the struggle must move on. And the tempo will even be hotter than when he's with us. If they see that no matter what they do, they will not be able to stop this tempo, to stop this fire that has been kindled. If they see that, if they discover that they will not be able to stop this fire, then and only then are they going to release him. You know, we have done everything. Law, we have fulfilled the law and everything. But they are still keeping him. Why? Because some of us are beginning to get distracted. So, I'm not telling you this for anybody. I'm telling you this for you as an individual. Check yourself. Check your own heart. How are you running this matter? Your own self individually. How are you pushing as an individual, you check your own self. For us to be free, we must continue to do what we have been doing when our leader was here. And what have we been doing? Exposing the zoo. We must increase that tempo. We must take advantage and expose them at every instance. And we must allow those that are doing their duties to do their duties. But we must never allow the zoo to blackmail us against ourselves, and to blackmail us against our people. We must always expose the treachery of the zoo. Because as it is now, we are fighting a media battle with the zoo. And what is that media battle? The media battle is that the zoo wants the world to feel like we are not capable enough to handle ourselves, or they just want to blackmail us so that at the end of the day, many people will get tired and stop. Because the only reason whatsoever, the only way the zoo can stop us is when we get tired. And anybody that tells you, oh, you're carrying this thing too much on your head, why can't you go and rest? That is the voice of the zoo. They want you to get tired. They don't want you to continue talking. They don't want you to continue to expose them. They want you to get tired. They want you to stop. Because the only way for you not to be free is for you to stop demanding for your freedom. But provided you don't stop, and they see that they cannot stop you, because it is not possible for the zoo to stop us. It is only us that can stop ourselves. And when I say only us that can stop ourselves, I mean you as an individual, not another person, not another member of IPOB. You as an individual. It is only you that can stop you. And many people have stopped. Many people have gotten tired. Maybe due to the activities of one person or the other, how it affects them and all. They have gotten tired. But the question is, will you get tired? Will you get tired of gathering? But it is better if you get tired of gathering, do not scatter. If you get tired of gathering, step out of the way, go and sleep. There are some of us that will never get tired. When you begin to scatter, you begin to help the enemies. If you get tired of gathering, don't scatter. But the question is, did you start this movement to get tired? Did you come into IPOB to get tired? This is practically and straight to every member of IPOB, under oath. Not just sympathizers, under oath. We took an oath to restore Biafra, and the place where I come from, we do not go back on our oath. The place where I come from, we don't take an oath and go back. I'm a prince of my land. We don't take an oath and go back. So did you take the oath to stop halfway? Or to get discouraged halfway and stop pushing? Others may not understand you, but you understand yourself. So because people do not understand you, will you stop? Will you reduce your tempo? Will you reduce your fire? Will you draw back? The Holy Scripture said that cursed is the man that withdraws his hand from shedding blood. He's not fit for the kingdom. You're at battlefront. You withdraw your hand so that you're not fit. Not every one of us will be physically at battlefront, but we are all at battlefront, whether we like it or not. We are all at battlefront. Are you going to withdraw your hand? Or are you going to keep moving? Are you going to keep pushing forward? This is not a time for praises. This is not a time for curses. This is not a time to look for friends. This is not a time to look for enemies. We know our friends already and we know our enemies. Our friend is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Our enemy is Nigeria. Our friend is the land of Biafra. Our enemy are those that created the zoo called Nigeria to put our land in chains. This is not a time to stop. This is not a time to draw back. This is not a time to give up. This is not a time to call names. This is the time to continue pushing forward. If you know what you know, if you know what you have been doing, that have been working, if what you have been doing have been working, if you can see that indeed it is working, you must continue. But if what you've been doing has not been working, you must look within yourself, think again, and turn around. This is my first day on this radio, on this platform, Biafra Radio. And that is why I chose this topic to let us to rearrange our mindsets. Because each and every one of us, we must begin to gather. This is the time to gather. And I want you to go all out. If you have friends, you have brothers, you have sisters that have given up and have gotten tired, this is the time for you to go to them and wake them up. This is not a time to get tired. The work is just about to start. Nigeria is not difficult to defeat. Nigeria is not difficult to defeat. And why is that so? We have every advantage. I said every single advantage. Every single advantage over Nigeria. We have more advantage now than Ojukwu had in his time. So why should we fail? Why should we get tired? Why should we give up? We have the advantage of knowledge. We know more things about our enemies now than our fathers knew about our enemies. If the generation of Ojukwu knew all we know today, they wouldn't have stopped. They would have preferred to die, every single one of them, instead of them to stop. We have all the advantage today. We have the advantage of history. We have the advantage of the internet. We have the advantage of social media. Why should we stop? Why should we draw back? Why should we drag feet? We have every advantage today. We have the human rights advantage. The human rights in the world today, even though the West do not consider Africans to be worthy of human rights. But yet it is there, it is written. We have human rights. All we need to do is to take advantage of it. We have the advantage of human rights. It is our rights. Self-determination is your right. It is a right of every man. We have the advantage of the law. That is why you see that they can never, ever defeat our leader. So they keep running around, because they can never defeat him. We have the advantage of the law. We have every advantage. If today we choose to change the game and face the zoo in the language that they understand, we are still not disadvantaged. Because we have everything on our land to get anything that we need. Except those in charge will not know how to maximize it. But we have everything. So the question is, where is the problem? The only difficulty is your mind. You as an individual. You as an individual, your own very mind. That is where the difficulty is. Your own very mind. The enemy is playing a game on your mind. If there are any difficulties, it is in your mind. And those difficulties are not real. Those difficulties are not real. The difficulty is only in your mind. If you sanitize your mind and put your mind the way it should be, think the thoughts that you should think. Direct your love at the proper direction and direct your hates at the proper direction. Put your love at the proper direction and put your hate at the proper direction. In the Biafra movement, I have no friends. IPOB is my family. And it's only IPOB I know. Irrespective of whatever names people try to create and create whatever ideologies and all of that, IPOB remains IPOB to me. Nothing have changed. For me, come on, wait, me. Nothing have changed. Nothing have changed. IPOB is IPOB to me. Nothing have changed. When I say IPOB is IPOB, I mean individuals, the people. My enemy remains the zoo. That is why I can make posts and I can open it up. People can come there and say whatever they want to say. I don't care. Whether it is in praises or it is curses, it still doesn't matter. Because it doesn't change anything. What matters is your mindset, how you think. We all must be able to put our minds in place, in check. We must be able to put our minds in check and take on the zoo. At this juncture, we shall be opening the lines so that people can call in and give their contributions. If you want to call, the line is open. On Signal alone, you cannot call any other place except on Signal. You can only call on Signal, and the number to call is +49 173 527 5073. I'll take it again. +49 173 527 5073. Take it one last time. +49 173 527 5073. That is the number to call. If you call that number, you will be able to get to us here. So, this is it. You must be able to work on your mind. Because our leader warned us of this. Our leader warned us on the last broadcast that he made that the zoo would throw everything at us. And that is why you must discipline your mind. Because the greatest battle is in your mind. We have defeated the zoo. If we didn't defeat the zoo will not break international protocols, international laws to go and pick our leader. It is just like when a man is dying, every solution is a solution. He will do everything that he can do. He will do everything to make sure that he gets back to his feet. And that is why they went after our leader. Bribe people in Kenya, bribe people in the UK, or whether it is even the idea of the UK. Because with the way they've been going about our leader's case, with the way they have been playing games, and the same UK or the same United Kingdom, this same United Kingdom are the people. This same United Kingdom are the same people that invaded the Benin Kingdom. They invaded the Kingdom of Benin with the excuse that their citizens were killed. The same Britain. Can you see their double standard? Today, their citizen, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is kidnapped. And they are playing games with it, dragging feet. If the citizen of Britain is so important to them as to invade a free nation, destroy their artifacts, destroy the people, destroy their royal stool, rip them of every glory that they had, and enslave them forever under the chain called Nigeria. If the same people could do that, why have they left Mazi Nnamdi Kanu at the hands of Nigeria for 2 years and counting? That is to tell you that on this one, they are complicit. It shows their complicity. It shows that they are complicit in this. It shows that on this one that they are complicit. You know, somebody might want to say, that one is ancient times. This one is recent time, and many laws, the United Nations, and all. No. The same United Nations have said that Nigeria should release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by the laws of the United Nations. So, by the laws of the United Nations, Britain is supposed to be demanding for her citizen. But guess what? Britain or the British High Commissioner, the then British High Commissioner, that was Katrina Lang, she was the one fighting it. She was a representative of Britain. I am saying this according to the facts stated by our international lawyer, Bruce Fein, who said that the woman was the one fighting it. Fighting Britain not to get involved. Of course, now she has been changed, but yet, Britain have not officially come out to ask Nigeria to release their citizen. You must understand that Britain, Kenya, they are all complicit in this. And if they weren't complicit, what Nigeria did with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is actually supposed to be a war crime. That is invasion of territory. They invaded the territory of Kenya without the knowledge of the government. They picked a guest of the country of Kenya out of Kenya without, even though Mazi Nnamdi Kanu were a citizen of Nigeria, of which he is no longer, or he has never even been, because he wasn't even born a Nigerian. He was born a Biafran. So he's not a citizen of Nigeria by any law. So even if he was, Nigerian government have no rights to invade Kenya's territory, pick a man from Kenya's territory, even though he's their citizen, and whisk him by the night and take him to Abuja. They have no right to do that. They have no right to do that. But they did. And Kenya is not complaining. Why? Kenya is complicit. They are complicit in it. Kenya is quiet. They are not complaining. They didn't go to United Nations to complain that Nigeria invaded their territory. No. The United Kingdom, whose citizens traveled from UK to Kenya, but never returned to UK, but Nigeria announced that he is in their country. What an effrontery. The same United Kingdom is quiet. The United Kingdom is quiet. Why? Because they are complicit in it. Because the United Kingdom is complicit in it. For 2 years, they are quiet. Even though we've been agitating, we've gone there, we've protested, they are quiet. Why? They are complicit. Kenya do not have an interest in Biafra land per se. They don't really have an interest. Kenya is just a corrupt country. There was a time that Kenya was ranked as the most corrupt country in the world. I watched a documentary about Kenya. It was massively corrupt, massively. And when I saw it then, I was like, huh. I thought the zoo was the most corrupt country in the world. The kind of corruption I saw in that documentary, I was amazed. Kenya is very corrupt. Very corrupt. So, Kenya, they are only interested in money. And when you see, government is a system, is an organizational system. When you see that triples into the society, that is why when a government fails, the society fails. And that is why you see the failure of the zoo. The society of the zoo has failed. Every culture has crumbled. The values of our forefathers have crumbled. No longer values anymore. Why? Because the system of government has failed. The system of governance has failed. That's what happened in Kenya. So when you see that kind of a thing, you know that this system is actually coming from the system that obtains in the government. So Kenya is just a government of rogues where people just come to steal. So what they were interested in was money. And the zoo have lots of it to give. Britain have lots of it. Though not theirs. But it is the zoo that will pay. So you now see where the interest lies. The interest of Britain. The interest of Britain is to keep their estates, their slave estates. They must ensure that their slave estates continues. So that, number one, they will continue to get oil and gas free. And they will continue to use the zoo to keep other African nations in bondage. Other African nations do not know that some of them are in bondage because of the zoo. Many African nations can't talk because when they talk, the zoo will not support them. . The zoo keeps sabotaging. And before I round up, there's a lawyer there's one of our lawyers that they have been intimidating. The zoo have been intimidating this lawyer. Why? All because he's standing up. You know, when you have a when our leader called it a zoo, he didn't mince words. When our leader called it a zoo, it wasn't a guess. How can you be chasing a lawyer? How can you be chasing a lawyer? His name is Barrister Cyril. You're chasing a lawyer, you don't want him to defend people. Why? Because you keep kidnapping people by night. And as you kidnap people by night, you don't want anybody to stand up for them so that you can do with them as you please. Go behind and destroy them. Go behind and kill them. Take their parts and sell all over the world. Ike Kurimadu today is serving because he tried to do in the UK what his colleagues have been doing, what many of them have been doing. Getting innocent people and using their body parts. Kill them and use their body parts. That's what they've been doing with many Biafrans. And you must know that Biafrans are very healthy people and our DNA are very strong. So they take advantage of that and make us their guinea pigs. And because it has not happened to you today, does not mean that you are free from it. And that is why it is our collective duty to stand up to this and speak out. It is our collective duty to speak out. Because nobody will do it for you. Once you allow yourself to get distracted, you allow yourself to chase shadows instead of to chase the real deal. We allow yourself to blow the air instead of to blow the real person. At the end of the day, you shoot yourself in the foot. Just like when Asari Dokubo was saying, how did he even put it? He was just shooting himself in the foot because he also have asked for freedom at one time or the other. So if freedom fighting is a crime, he is also a criminal. If Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a criminal because he's fighting for freedom, the man as well is a bigger. So at this juncture, we'll call it a day. Thank you all for listening. And do not forget, you must put your efforts in gathering and not scattering. Thank you very much. My name remains Kimowe Tarinimi, and I'm your host, and this is Biafra Radio. God bless you.